7 years ago, I had a crazy thought of starting a sales podcast. Who would have ever thought that sales podcast would have taken us halfway around the world? As a result of that podcast, we would have spoken to many different audiences across the United States, would have taught salespeople all across the globe, and would have created a business, and not to mention being recognized in magazines such as Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, and Forbes. All of this I tell you not because I'm trying to brag. I am proud and grateful that we were able and are able to do these things and are able to serve you. But the thing that I want to tell you is that there are moments in our lives where we have thoughts and ideas, but then we give up on them. We sacrifice them. I have done that. But I'm grateful that I did not do that to this one, that I didn't give up on this, because now I'm able to serve you. And I want to give you some ideas today. I have about 5 written down, but I'm sure I'll probably go longer than that. But I want to give you at least five principles that I've learned over the years about sales and principles I've learned about life from doing a sales podcast. Sounds fair enough? It's going to be a fun discussion. Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today, to give you some little lessons and to teach you in the sales way. I'm going to give you what I've learned over the past 7 years of teaching sales, sharing tips, and interviewing some of the best. Listen, man, I love doing this stuff. I love doing my job. I love doing the sales podcast, and I'm grateful for you as an audience member, someone who's here, who's subscribed to our show, who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching this and haven't subscribed as of yet, what's wrong with you? Please go ahead and hit subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. Our podcast community is an awesome community, and we're trying to grow on a different platform as well. So anyways, I want to be able to help you and your community, your friends. Tell them about our sales podcast, tell them about TSE TV, and have them come here and subscribe. But today is a fun episode because this is our 1300th episode. 1300th episode. 1,300. That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of interviews. It's a lot of lessons. And I wish I could boil all that down. I probably could write a book or multiple books on all of that. But today I want to tell you at least 5 principles. And I wrote them down here. And as I mentioned in a teaser, we're probably going to go a little bit over. Maybe I'll give you a bonus, 1 or 2. But there's several things that I've learned that I just think I wanted to convey to you in this episode. And one, I guess to go back to gratitude. I'm not for the first principle, but just I'm grateful to you as an audience member. I'm grateful to you because you sacrifice your time, you subscribe to our content, you listen, you share, you apply the stuff, and we wouldn't be here without you. So if I want to serve a community, I need a community to serve. And I'm thankful for you being here as a part of that community and leaving us reviews. And again, just recommendation. Every time I connect with someone on LinkedIn, I ask them how to hear about the podcast. They say either they found it via a Google search, or somebody mentioned us, or a friend shared it with them, or they saw a post and somebody shared it with them. So I appreciate you for being one of our evangelists, our evangelizers out there and helping us to spread the gospel of effective selling. But 5 principles today I want to share with you. The first one is you can't sell any higher than your level of belief. And I think that applies to sales and life. And I'm going to give you 2 ways how those apply. Nothing happens till you prospect. And I'm going to give you some thoughts on not only, again, selling, but how this applies to just opening your mouth and doing something. Value is in the eye of the beholder. These are principles you've heard throughout our episodes from guests and from myself over the years, but I'm going to give you, again, some different thoughts on what that means and how you can make sure that you're giving value every single time to your prospects, to your clients. Number 4 is that everyone, I love this one, you have to zig when everyone is zagging. You know I'm a big fan of standing out and doing something different from the crowd. And then the 5th one is swing for the fences, do big things. So you can't sell any higher than your level of belief. You can't succeed or sell any higher than your level of belief. And this is very simple. Henry Ford, I think, said it best, where he said, the quote was something like this: if you believe you can't, or if you believe you can, and you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you're right. And it's true. If we believe we can do something, or we believe we can't do something, we're right in that. And also Wayne Gretzky, which I'm going to tie back to a number 2 as well. Wayne Gretzky said that you miss 100% of the shots you do not take, right? So what do I mean by this? You have to believe that you can do something. When I first started this podcast, I had a desire, and that desire came to a belief. I had a desire to do this, and then I started in April 2013. But then I actually stopped and I created a little website, but I didn't do actual audio because I was afraid of the editing, that it was going to be too technical. So I started doing video. I thought that would be easier. And I launched a video, and I don't know where that is. I need to find that video. But that video was the very, very first thing, and it wasn't all that great. And I did another one. I think I did 2, and so 00 and then 001, and then I stopped doing it. And I said, you know what? I probably shouldn't do this. It's probably not going to help anyone. But then as I interacted with individuals, they, because of this desire, helped me to generate this belief. And one of my friends, Jared, easily encouraged me to do it, to go on his podcast. And when I saw and experienced that, I started believing that I could do it. That level of belief, if I could not start a podcast until I believed that I could do it. And in sales, you cannot succeed until you believe that you can succeed. In life, being a great dad or a great mom, you cannot be a great mom or a great dad until you believe that you can be a great mom or great dad. So you have to visualize this before it actually happens. In your sales efforts, as you're reaching out to prospects, you have to believe that you're going to get in touch with people. You have to believe that you're going to close a deal. You have to believe that you're a great seller. If you don't believe those things, it's not that it's just going to automatically happen. You have to envision it. You have to believe. And you may not necessarily know how you're going to get exactly there. Like me on the sales journey, I knew I wanted to help people. I believed that we could help people after people shared with me. I didn't know where it was going to lead us to here so far, but that belief then caused me to act. And that belief and that action led me down paths and led me to opportunities and introduced me to people and to audiences and to groups. And that, my friend, is what happens when you have a level of belief. But you cannot succeed higher than a level of belief if you don't first believe. So in your case, the principle that I want you to leave this, when you go out and you're finishing up this episode and you're going to prospect, I want you to believe that you're going to contact someone. Maybe it won't be the first call. Maybe it won't be the first LinkedIn message. But I promise you that if you believe it, it's going to lead to you acting, and then that's going to guide you eventually towards that inevitable success that you desire. It's simple. So true. So I want you to believe it, and I want you to understand that if you don't believe it, the opposite, then you are going to get exactly what you don't believe or what you desire. If you tell yourself that I suck and I'm not a good seller, then you're going to suck and you're not going to be a good seller. If you tell yourself you're great and you're an awesome seller, you're going to be an awesome seller. I just know, I promise you that, 110%. The desire is going to lead to the belief. The belief is going to lead to the action. The action is going to generate the results. I want you to take that. I want you to apply it. Number 2, nothing happens till you prospect. Nothing will happen to your prospect. Many of our episodes, some of the guests that we've had, Jeffrey Gittimer, we've had Steve Kalota, we did an episode with him the other day, Jill Conrath, we've had Aaron Ross, we've had Lisa Nichols, we've had a lot of successful people on our podcast, and one of the things that they all share is the fact that they took action, right? And it goes back to prospecting. I just think about that with prospecting. Nothing happens until you do something. Nothing happens until you ask, and oftentimes we don't ask enough. We cancel ourselves from doing something. So let me give you an example. I was working with a client the other day, and I'll give a big shout out. I won't say her name, but she knows who she is. But she was reaching out. She has this program, and she wanted to get in touch with some of her clients and some of her past clients and some of her prospects. She has amazing stuff. People love what she does. But it turns out that with this new program that she had, no one really knew about it, even though she, quote unquote, announced it to the community. No one actually knew it. And I told her, you need to reach out to your community, individuals, one-on-one, and you need to talk to them. She was terrified of doing so. She was able to reach out to them, and it turns out a large majority of these people in her community, even though she shared the program online, did not know about it. It wasn't until she started prospecting and personally calling them that she was able to strike gold. And she actually closed one of the first ones with a deal. And it was amazing. She was excited. And it just goes back to show that nothing happens until you prospect, nothing happens until you go out and ask. So often as sales reps, we get timid, we get worried, we get fearful about the people that we're going to call, that they're going to hate us, that they're going to get mad at us. Nobody's going to hate you or get mad at you. They have life and they have things going on, and maybe it's not the right time. But I promise you, though, the sales reps who prospect, the sales reps who spend hours, if you spend 2 hours, at least 2 hours of dedicated prospecting times per day as a sales rep, I promise you that you're going to see success. Because many salespeople don't spend that much time actually dedicated to prospecting. I'm talking about true prospecting, not sitting here jumping back and forth, doing research. This is when you're going to make those phone calls, spending 2 hours making the phone calls or reaching out to people on LinkedIn or sending those emails. 2 hours per day of dedicated time, uninterrupted. I promise you, you're going to see success. I can give you many experiences in my business and in my life where we reach out to people, and just because we prospected, we actually saw success from it. There was another quote, you've probably heard it too, that 70-80% of success is just showing up. Showing up in sales is really just prospecting. Showing up to the prospect physically, or showing up and asking and just calling. It's a numbers game. And I know I've gone back and forth on that, but let me clarify. Numbers game meaning that if you do it right, then you follow the numbers, you'll see the result. Not just like willy-nilly, just send out 10,000 emails and then that's just going to lead to success. No, send out 10,000 personalized, really good emails. Yeah, then you're going to see success. There's a law of averages that's going to come in your favor. But you got to prospect. You have to do it. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years of doing 1,300 episodes. You must prospect, and the sales reps who prospect, they prosper. You like that, right? Prospecting lead to prosper. Yeah. Number 3, value is in the eye of the beholder. Values in the eye of beholder mean that you as a sales rep cannot dictate what value is. The buyer must dictate or validate that, or believe that it's valuable. So let's give you an example. If I'm selling water bottles, I always use examples of water bottles, right? Here I am dropping my water bottle. I might think this water and the water bottle is valuable stuff, and then I would, I'm going to try to depict that to our buyer. I'm going to try to give that to our buyer and say, this is valuable to you because it's valuable to me. And I'm going to tell you about all the features and benefit and how it makes you not thirsty anymore. Well, that may not be valuable to me considering the fact that I own a water company or I have tons of water already and I have no need of it. However, let's pretend that I just went through a hurricane and I do not have water. I then, as the buyer, would depict how valuable that water bottle is going to be. And that's going to be extremely valuable to me at that time. But if you're trying to tell me and your value of something, it's never going to happen. But if you were to ask me the right question, Donald, tell me, I'm trying to make up some stuff with the water bottle here. But Donald, as the sales rep, Donald, tell me, how are you getting water right now? Tell me about your water situation. Well, the water's turned off because of the hurricane and we don't have anything. Oh my goodness. So what are you doing for drinking water? Well, we're just going around finding stuff from our neighbors or trying to boil water. Oh my, that's crazy. If we could get you a case of water, would you have interest in that at that point? Of course, I'm going to say yes. I'd love to get a case of drinking water. It now becomes valuable. And for me, it's for drinking and it's for taking care of my family. It's for my livelihood. But if I don't see the product as valuable, because then your value or your perception of it at your moment can't be pushed onto me. It has to be something that I deem as valuable. Then I'm going to invest. And the way that comes is by personalizing your message. And the issue that we find oftentimes in sales is that sales reps, salespeople, and I've been guilty of it. I've sold products and I push that same idea, the same generalized value proposition onto all of my prospects, on not understanding the prospect's current situation or the current needs. That lack of understanding of their situation, of their needs, and what they perceive as valuable hindered me from actually getting through or having a breakthrough moment. If you're trying to sell me with tons of water, your water, thinking that it's valuable because you might be thirsty, then I'm going to push you away. But if you try to sell it to me because I have a problem, meaning that I do not have water, then that becomes extremely valuable in my eyes. In your case, maybe you sell office furniture. Again, if there's a way you can position office furniture towards a specific problem of that particular prospect, that's when you start creating value in the eye of the beholder, as opposed to you just saying, these office furnitures are nice, you should have them, I think it's valuable. That doesn't make any sense. So it comes down to personalization, it comes down to listening, and it comes down to asking effective questions. Another thing you can do is do research on the individual, do individual on their company, better understand their circumstances, their situation. And if you can do that, listen, value is going to be easily depicted. You're going to understand it even more so because you're listening to them, you're seeing some of the things going on in the organization, and you can frame it around problems they're having. Thus, you become valuable. One of the things we also teach in our company is the blind side challenge. The blind side challenge, for those of you who've listened to our podcast for a while, or you've probably seen movies, or you watch sports, specifically football. If I'm a right-handed quarterback and I am throwing, to my receivers or wherever, I'm able to here on the right side is where I see mostly. I have a blind side, which is right behind me here on my left. That's why I need my guards over there to make sure I'm protected. Individuals on my line that can take care of me, that blind side. Your job as a sales rep is to be that individual that's protecting your quarterback. The quarterback meaning your prospect. The prospects have blind side because oftentimes they're focused on running their business, and their view here, they don't get a chance to oftentimes look far left and to see some of the challenges or difficulties that are creeping up on them. You, my friend, with your proper research, your proper study, your proper understanding is going to help that particular buyer understand those difficult moments and understand things that could be hindrance to their company. And thus, you're going to solve a problem for them that they didn't know was even there. Thus, it's a blindside challenge, a blindside problem, and that will become valuable. You teach them and you help them understand something that they didn't recognize is going to be an issue. That's, again, another way you can be valuable in the eye of or create value. And then the buyer will recognize that value, deem it as important, believe it, and then want your solution to help solve that problem. All right. We're smoking here. We're cooking really good. I told you it's going to go a little longer. I just love this. Number 4 is zig when everyone is zagging. What do I mean by that? When you zig when everyone is zagging, you're doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So let me give you an example of that in business. Well, when I first started a podcast, I didn't recognize that as a sales rep, if I interviewed my potential customers, that way I would get ahead of some of my teammates or get ahead of some of my colleagues or outbeat my competition. But I learned it as I went on. So one of the things I did was just that. Companies that I wanted to get into as a sales rep when I was doing B2B software sales, I would interview or reach out to some of those folks to do an interview that led to conversations, that led to appointments, led to opportunities for the business I was working for. I was zigging when everyone else was zagging. Everyone was just making cold calls. I was utilizing social media to get ahead. Another example was a colleague and I started a blog while we were sales rep. We were doing our prospecting in the daytime, but early mornings or in the evenings, we were writing content that would tie towards our particular topic, toward the particular problems that we solved for other customers. And that way we were generating leads into our business. People who were potential customers, they were reading that content and they would reach out to us, and it was just great to see that happen as a sales rep, that we were zigging while everyone else was zagging. And in your case, you can do many different things. You can do things on LinkedIn. I think the percentage is only like 3% of active LinkedIn users are posting content every single week. And if you want to be able to be someone that stands out, you post content on LinkedIn. You can just answer questions that your customers typically ask you. That's content. It works. Believe you me. That's why we're here. We have a podcast. So I want you to zig. Think outside the box when everyone else is zagging. It's a powerful principle. Number 5, swing for the fences. I can't explain this one any more than what it is. Just do big things. I'm a firm believer in taking massive action. You have to. In order for you to succeed at times, you have to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. And you have to, again, go back to number one where you believe this. So one of the things that we've done is, do big things. We've reached out to big name individuals. We've had conversations with them. I've actually communicated with folks like Barbara. It didn't work out for an interview at the time, didn't swing for the fences. I would never had the opportunity to have the conversation and to much less meet her and to talk to her at a conference. The point I'm telling you with this, don't limit yourself. Do big things. I tell you that every single episode. I want you to think outside the box. I want you to be able to again, I want you to try at least to do something big. You don't have to do, you might have people in your industry that are whales that you can win in your business. But you tell yourself, our company, we've never landed a whale, so I'm not even going to try it. Focus on your ideal customers, but why not swing for a whale every so often? You probably have about 60% of your business come from your core competency, your core types of customers. You probably have a lower end, maybe you have another 10, 15, 20% that come from that. And you probably have another 20% that come from a large segment of large type clients. Just go for it every once in a while. Swing for the fences. What's the worst that's going to happen? Remember that these people are human beings just like you are. So if you reach out to them, the last thing, it's not like they're going to be, not like they're untouchable, for goodness sakes. They put on their pants and dress and skirts just as much as you do. And they have family, they have lives just as much as you do. They're human beings. They're not like superheroes. They're not gods. Go talk to them. Reach out to them. Sure, they recognize that they have the same problems that your smaller companies have, but their problem a little bit bigger. It's probably a little bit more challenging to reach them, but hey, if you're zigging while everyone else is zagging, then what the heck? You will, in law of averages, you will get in touch with some of those people, but you will never get in touch with them unless you do it. So do big things. And then another big thing, maybe a small thing. Like for us, it was starting a podcast. And doing that, again, led us to where we are today. I could go on forever, but I just hit like 25, 22 minutes with this episode, and I want to be respectful of you and your time. I've been super blessed, my family and I'm just super grateful for you as a community for helping us out with our getting our message and the word out there. My job and my vision ever since episode number 000 is to help sales reps. And I wrote some of the things down that I had back then. One was to hone their sales skills, still the same, increase their performance, and to tell you that I'm not an expert, but I want to interview and learn from all the experts and to take those things and to help you and to help myself. I want to be able to help the sales community. I want to be able to help sales reps who are struggling. I want to help people who don't know and they want to get the guidance. I want to be that individual that evangelizes what's working. I want to go find that stuff and bring it back to you. Therefore, that's how I'm doing big things. And I'm thankful for you to be here, a part of the journey. Thank you so much. As always, I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to be able to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.